So today I will be watching the Collected Miscellany for some of the Genshin Impact characters. I would have watched all of them, but they are pretty long, so instead I decided that I will be watching the ones for my favorite characters and the characters that just really piqued my interest. If you enjoy this video and would like to see more from me, go ahead and hit that like button, but aside from that, let's jump right in. I am not watching these in any specific order. I kind of just have them on a list and I'm just watching them.
In the business of national security, the public eye poses many restrictions. While trouble brews in the shadows, it helps to bring in special talent. Someone who can move freely between different circles, covering their tracks as they go.
She sounds...
This kind of collaboration could cost you, so make sure it's worth the price.
Who's
like a pro.
Yelon is a master of the bow, whose hydrovision takes her abilities to new heights. Stronger and more daring than most, she thrives in dangerous situations, leading her enemies slowly but surely into her trap.
Of course.
For Yelon, staying alert to new intel of all kinds is second nature. Wherever she goes, whatever she does, she always returns with a wealth of resources. When Yelon is dispatched on a 20-hour expedition in Liu, she will obtain increased rewards.
Wow. I don't even
Yelon's
know what that
normal
means,
attack
but...
can combo up to 4 consecutive shots, dealing physical damage. Holding the attack button executes a more precise shot that deals increased damage. While aiming, flowing water accumulates on the arrowhead. A fully charged arrow deals hydro damage on hit. After leaving combat for a short time, Yelon gains the breakthrough effect, which greatly decreases the charge time of her next aimed shot, and fires a breakthrough barb at full charge. The breakthrough barb deals AoE hydro damage that scales based on Yelon's max HP. When she casts her elemental skill, Yelon moves rapidly using her life form, latching onto and marking enemies as she goes.
That's so
cool. Produce different effects. When tapped, Yelon rapidly dashes forward a short distance.
My gosh.
While held, Yelon remains in a rapid movement state and
Yo,
gains
that's so
increased
cool.
resistance to interruption while in that state. During this time, Yelon can control the direction she sprints in and can cast the skill again to exit the rapid movement state.
That is so cool.
Using this skill, she can quickly approach groups of enemies while easily avoiding
It's
some
cool
of their
that
attacks.
she's able
It
to...
helps her explore the surrounding terrain.
She's able to like go invisible and use like her ability, I guess is what it would be, and avoid the attacks while also, you know, getting them all gathered up.
More rapidly. When rapid movement ends, Lifeline will explode and deal hydro damage to marked enemies based on Yelon's max HP. Also,
It's
Lifeline
so cool.
explodes, the number of enemies marked affects her chance to gain the breakthrough effect. The more enemies
She seems like a
marked,
lot of
the
fun to
higher the
play.
chance to gain the effect.
Game's up. Fun's over.
My gosh.
When Yelon unleashes her elemental burst, she deals AoE hydro damage to nearby enemies and creates an exquisite throw to assist in battle. Exquisite throw follows the active character, and when they perform a normal attack, or Yelon's lifeline explodes and hits an enemy, Exquisite throw will join in the attack, dealing hydro damage based on Yelon's max HP. After unlocking the talent Adapt with Ease, the active character's damage dealt gradually increases while Exquisite Throw is present.
Interesting.
If the Elemental Burst is cast again while this effect is active, the effect will be cleared. Before the fun of guessing the enemy's next move begins, Yelon inspects her hand and tallies up her strengths. After unlocking the talent Turn Control, Yelon's max HP is increased. Based on the number of elemental types in the party, The
Interesting.
more
That's
elemental
cool.
types, the greater the increase. Wherever there is intrigue, Yelon is in the background.
So it seems like they
quietly
kind of
weaving her
all
web.
work
By
together
the
in a
time
way.
her prey notices, it's already too late. In battle, Yelon likes to open with her breakthrough bar. Before using her
Sorry,
elemental
I
skill
just-
to approach nearby enemies, she
It's so I
ensnares
just
her
don't think that's
target
so
with
cool when
lightning,
she does
then
that.
lets it explode and deal damage. After the explosion, if she has the breakthrough effect, Yelon may follow up with another breakthrough bomb to inflict further damage.
I didn't realize she was a bow user
When energy is full,
in her
Yelon unleashes her
demo, 'cause I
elemental
don't remember
burst
if it
to create an exquisite throw,
showed that or not.
providing hydro damage and a damage boost,
Yo, that looks so cool.
so the team can round up the remaining foes. Fate is a cruel and perilous thing. It bodes only ill, lurking in dark places like the chasm. To me, that place is the epitome of human misfortune. People died there, far from their homes. People with hopes and dreams, dutiful to the bitter end. Different motivations resulted in the same tragic conclusion. People ought to fear disaster, unless they can learn to draw strength from their fear.
Oh, her bow looks
Perhaps
cool.
Yelon is just such a unique case. Undeterred by fate's cruel design, there is no path she will not go down in the pursuit of secrets. But what if, one day, she descends into a place from which there is no escape?
Oh my gosh.
I'm curious, by which of her many sides would she see herself be remembered?
Interesting. Okay. See, I assumed, obviously, that the characters played the way they did in the demos, but I don't know, it's so cool seeing like how they actually play, like actually watching that. Now, some of the stuff confused me a little bit because obviously I have not played the game yet, but obviously I'll understand this whole thing more once I actually play the game. So I decided to save my favorite characters for last so I can just get myself ready, you know.
Yayamiko is a divine kitsune, as the Electro Archon's familiar and Guji of the Grand Narukami Shrine. Her dignified presence commands awe and respect.
So pretty.
But as chief editor of the Yai Publishing House, and a patron and participant of festivities, her crafty tone keeps you guessing. This leaves many uncertain of how to deal with the majestic but mystifying Miko. In reality, however, if you want to make Lady Guji smile, you needn't deliver an eloquent speech. You simply need to say these 4 magic words. Something amusing just happened.
Of course.
Whatever would you do without me?
In Yayamiko's eyes, shooing away pesky intruders is a tedious task that doesn't
Oh, it
require her
looks
personal
so
involvement.
nice.
She can leave this to the kitsune
Oh.
spirits. Only when her curiosity is aroused
It's
will
the
Yayamiko
little-
show her fabled
Little
fox folk and
foxes.
summon lightning plummeting from above.
Oh my gosh, that
Except
sounded
that those
so
lucky enough to witness this
aggressive.
spectacle never live to tell of the tale.
My gosh.
With her age and experience, Yayamiko is one of the most learned in the land. Even if the spur-of-the-moment stories she enjoys telling make this hard to
Oh my
believe.
gosh. It's like a mini
When Yayamiko crafts character talent materials,
mini
there is
little
a chance
whatever
to
that
obtain
is.
one extra random item of the same region. This item has the same rarity as the material consumed. Yayamiko's normal
Oh my
attack
gosh.
performs up to 3 consecutive attacks, dealing electro damage.
Yo.
Her charged attack consumes a set amount of stamina and deals AoE electro damage after a short casting time.
I think it's so cute that they have the
After
little
elemental skill,
box
and
going like
Yayamiko moves swiftly, leaving behind a Seisho Sakura. While on the field, it periodically strikes one nearby enemy with lightning,
Oh my
dealing
gosh.
electro damage.
That's cool.
This skill has 3 charges, and a
Oh.
maximum of 3 Seisho Sakura can exist at one time. If another Seisho Sakura is nearby, its level is increased,
Oh.
meaning its lightning strikes deal more damage.
That's cool.
Initially, Seisho Sakura are created at level
She has
1,
little
and the maximum level is 3.
helpers.
By strategically
Oh my
spacing the
gosh.
Seisho Sakura,
The
Yayamiko
flower,
can
I didn't
quickly
notice
create an
that.
ideal formation to increase their damage level and put her enemy in a difficult position.
That's cool. That's
When the Guji of the shrine
She can
recites
just
a blessing,
circle
thunder
'em.
roars in response. After unlocking the talent Enlightened Blessing, Seisho Sakura damage is increased based on Yayamiko's elemental mastery.
Oh, I see.
I'm always watching.
When Yayamiko
So you can-
unleashes her elemental,
You can use stuff from one character and then change to another character. I guess that makes sense. I mean, I mean, it makes sense. I just haven't played yet, so
first, she summons a
I was
lightning
assuming
strike,
you
dealing
know
AoE electro damage. When cast,
just did your thing as
Yayamiko
one
unseals
character.
nearby Seisho Sakura, destroying their outer forms and transforming them into Tenko Thunderbolts, dealing further AoE electro damage.
Yo.
Each Seisho Sakura destroyed in this way, one Tenko Thunderbolt strikes down. After unlocking the talent, the Shrine's Sacred Shade, when Yayamiko
That
casts her
just looks
elemental
so
burst,
cool.
each Seisho Sakura destroyed resets the cooldown for one charge of her elemental skill. Don't let Yayamiko's graceful outward appearance fool you into thinking she is gracious in temperament, for that would be a fatal error.
Oh my god.
During battle, Yayamiko does not think twice before unleashing Seisho Sakura.
Of
She ensnares
course.
the enemy in a perilous position, dealing damage and creating opportunities for teammates to attack. When energy is full, Yayamiko unleashes her elemental burst, unsealing nearby Seisho Sakura and summoning Tenko Thunderbolts to make sure these tiresome foes disappear for good. In storytelling skill, the writers of the Yaya Publishing House are my superior. When I get talking, I tend to speak of true historical events. But under Chief Editor Yaya's guidance, works of sheer fantasy thrive, accounting for the vast majority of popular light novels. Maybe in another few centuries, archaeologists will find books filled with pure fiction, mistake them for rare historical records, and draw all kinds of conclusions from them. Perhaps by then, the truth of the past will be consumed as entertaining fiction.
Oh, I
Its
remember
only
that place
purpose,
from
to
the
meet people's need for novelty.
version
Save
trailers.
for the sneering of the kitsune, all that will remain is the despairing sighs of the long forgotten.
That was cool. I liked that one. It was interesting to see, you know, she left like those little things behind. It was kind of like the first one I watched, but like in its own way, like the first one, she was able to like, you know, go around and gather them all up. And that one, you can kind of like trap them with the triangle. And I thought that was cool. It makes it definitely looks like a lot of fun. I will say that.
Ninjas are often portrayed moving under the veil of night, stealthily conducting their mission in the shadows. As such, people tend to let their imaginations regarding ninjas run wild, filching objects in a flash, vanishing without a trace, and laying poisonous traps. Such skills are necessary to be worthy of the ninja
Is she a
title. But in the
ninja?
eyes of Ninja Saiyu, no matter how profound the art of ninjutsu may be, it is to be used but for a single purpose: slacking off. To this ninja who never passes on an opportunity to be
I was not expecting that child to be a ninja. I was like, oh, she's so cute. She's a ninja.
lazy,
What?
the stirring of the leaves is not the opportune diversion to strike her
I
enemy.
was not
Rather, it's
expecting.
a favorable time to slip away for a nice nap.
Oh my god.
Saiyu, Shumatsuban at your disposal.
She's
But if you don't need me right now,
adorable.
I'm gonna grab some sleep.
Saiyu is the Shumatsuban's resident ninja, and the last successor of the Yuhu art. She uses the
course.
power of Animo to swiftly move across the battlefield,
Oh.
and wields a claymore much heavier than herself to
Dang.
protect her companions. As a
I was
master
also not
slacker,
expecting her to
Sayu's
use
most
that.
adept ninjutsu technique is the art of holding her breath.
Oh my god. The art
When
of holding
Sayu
her
is in a
breath.
party, your characters can approach crystal flies,
Master
lizards, and
slacker.
other certain animals without startling them.
Saiyu's normal attack can combo up to 4 strikes,
Dang.
dealing physical damage to enemies. Holding the attack steadily consumes stamina.
Oh my gosh.
While Saiyu spins her claymore, dealing physical damage to nearby enemies.
It definitely
Once Saiyu
looks
stops
like
spinning
the
her
weapon
blade,
is way
she
too
unleashes
heavy
a more
for her.
powerful strike that launches smaller enemies within her range. Tap Saiyu's elemental skill to perform a special ninjutsu technique of the Yuhu art, in which Saiyu curls up and enters the Fufu wind wheel state and rolls forward for a certain distance, smashing into opponents at high
Of
speed,
course.
dealing anemo damage. When the skill ends, Saiyu performs a Fufu whirlwind kick, dealing AoE anemo damage.
Looks like she's
Holding her elemental
yawning.
skill casts Yuhu art Fuin Dash, causing Saiyu to roll continuously in the Fufu wind wheel state,
Oh my gosh.
increasing Saiyu's resistance to interruption while within that state. During this time, Saiyu can control the direction of her roll and can cast the skill again to end her
Oh.
wind wheel state early.
That's what she uses it for.
Upon ending it, she unleashes a stronger version of the Fufu whirlwind kick, dealing a single instance of AoE anemo damage. The longer Saiyu remains in her wind wheel state, the longer the skill's cooldown will become. After
Oh.
holding her elemental skill and entering the wind wheel state. If Saiyu comes into
Dang,
contact
surely
with
just
hydro,
put that fire
pyro,
out.
cryo, or electro, elemental absorption will occur, causing her to absorb that element and deal
Oh.
additional elemental damage of that type.
Yo, that's
Elemental
cool.
absorption may only occur once per use of this skill. With adept use of Fufu wind wheel state, Saiyu can swiftly roll across the battlefield to trigger swirl reactions in tandem with other party members. In the open world, Saiyu can
That
make
was
use
crazy.
of her Fufu wind wheel to quickly cover distances, aiding with exploration.
Ninjutsu!
Makes sense.
Unleash her elemental burst to deal anemo damage to nearby opponents, as well as heal all nearby party members.
Oh.
The amount of HP restored is based on Saiyu's attack. Additionally, Saiyu performs another ninjutsu technique of the Yuhu art, summoning Saiyu's trusty helper, Muji Muji Daruma. At specific intervals, Muji Muji Daruma will take one of several actions based on the situation around it. If the HP of nearby characters is relatively high, it will attack a nearby opponent, dealing anemo damage.
That's cool. It can heal or
If there are
attack.
nearby characters with HP below a certain percentage, it will heal the character with the lowest HP percentage left. The amount of HP restored is based on Saiyu's attack. If there are no opponents nearby, then it will focus on healing characters, even if the characters already have relatively high percentages of HP. After unlocking the talent No Work Today, when Muji Muji Daruma heals a character, it will also heal a certain percentage of HP for other nearby characters on the battlefield. And when it attacks opponents, it will have an increased AoE. Perhaps in Saiyu's heart, being neither eye-catching nor of extraordinary strength, she feels that her teammates are better suited for tackling the tasks at hand. In the meanwhile, Saiyu can ensure they stay fit for combat. When Saiyu triggers a swirl reaction on the battlefield, she will regenerate HP for your characters in the party and all
Oh.
nearby allied characters. Additionally, the amount of healing
I still
will
think
also
that's really
benefit
cool.
from Saiyu's
She's able
elemental mastery.
to
This effect can
absorb
occur only once per set
elements
time
around
period.
her and stuff.
Though it may seem that Sleepy Saiyu is always slacking off, she is still quite loyal to her commitments, or to put it another way, inescapable duties. She rolls nimbly across the battlefield,
The way she
providing
runs is so
reliable
cute.
support to her teammates. In combat, Saiyu relies on her Fufu wind wheel to move swiftly, quickly closing the distance on her enemies and crashing into them to trigger swirl reactions, while simultaneously providing healing for her team. When energy is full, Saiyu can unleash her elemental burst to summon Muji Muji Daruma, whether it's to heal her teammates or to increase damage against her opponents. Muji Muji Daruma can adapt to the situation and protect Saiyu's precious companions. Striving for the dreams of your youthhood is an admirable thing indeed. Only by improving yourself can you face the vicissitudes of life. And when it comes to improving
It's
yourself,
just sitting
whether it's
there.
sharpening your combat skills or simply trying to grow taller, to the
Pro
young,
dollar.
anything worth striving for is a truly valuable endeavor. Now that I think about it, I too was probably once that way. Naive, persistent, and untiring. I'm only joking, of course. I've long forgotten the happenings of hundreds of years ago.
Who is even the one talking right now? I don't know. I don't know.
There are many remarkable people in Mondstadt's Knights of Favonius. Among them is a small knight who
I
raised
love
Stormbearer
Klee
Mountains
so
flat,
much.
and whose name has recently become commonplace both within
Oh my
Mondstadt
God.
and beyond. When it comes to Spark Knight Klee, there are rumors aplenty.
She's really
Interestingly,
unfazed.
those telling these rumors do so with a smirk and a shake of their heads, joking that even Mondstadt's fish have learned to swim away when they see her.
Oh my
Can I
God.
come play with you today? Please? I want to go on an adventure.
Well known as the Spark Knight, Klee is able to deal continuous pyro damage with her childlike
Oh my
glee
gosh.
and a pack and pockets full of bombs.
She
But
really
watch
is
out,
so
as
adorable.
anything near her may be turned to ash in a fiery explosion.
Oh my God.
Klee loves adventures and is adept at expeditions and gathering.
I love
Not
the
only
way
does
she
know the
runs.
locations of Mondstadt's unique flora, she may also know where to find a treasure or two. When Klee is on your team, the location of items unique to Mondstadt will appear on your minimap. When it comes to anything explosive, Klee simply can't control her enthusiasm.
Oh my God.
Klee's normal attack
Of
performs up to
course.
3 consecutive explosive attacks that
She's
deal
out here
AoE pyro
throwing
damage. Holding the attack button
bombs.
consumes a certain amount of stamina, and after a short casting time blasts enemies, dealing AoE pyro damage. When Klee is up high, her charged attack can reach enemies even farther away. Also, Klee's normal and charged attacks are especially effective against geo targets.
It's so cute how she
making
even
them
throws
ideal against
them.
enemies with geo shields, and for quickly mining ore. After unlocking the talent Sparkling Burst, when Klee's charged attack lands a critical hit, some energy will be
Oh
restored
my
for all party members.
Goodness. She
Use
threw
Klee's
all of
elemental
them.
skill to toss Jumpy Dumpty.
Jumpy
will
Dumpty.
bounce 3 times, each bounce causing an explosion that deals AoE pyro
Oh my
damage.
gosh.
On the 3rd bounce, Jumpy Dumpty will burst into mines. These explode upon contact with enemies or after
That's
a
cool.
short time, dealing AoE pyro damage. Jumpy Dumpty will automatically recharge over time to up to 2
The name.
charges. It is effective in dealing with groups of enemies. After Jumpy Dumpty explodes, switch characters and pull enemies together to take advantage of the mines and deal a lot of damage to enemies.
Oh my goodness.
After unlocking the talent Pounding Surprise, when Jumpy Dumpty and normal attacks deal damage, Klee has a chance to obtain an explosive spark. When Klee has an explosive spark, instead of consuming stamina, her next charged attack will expend the spark instead and deal increased damage.
Blow them all up.
Whoa.
Klee's Blazing Delight, Sparks and Splash, continuously attacks nearby enemies for the duration of the skill, dealing AoE pyro damage. Sparks and Splash has high damage and attack rate, empowering Klee to deal immense damage while on the battlefield. Klee is able to continuously dish out strong pyro attacks, earning her a role as the firepower of your party. Next, let's look at a battle to experience Klee's incredible
Yes.
destructive capability.
And
In battle,
my
Klee
gosh.
can use her elemental skill and normal attacks to repeatedly activate the effect of the talent Pounding Surprise.
This child is popping
and
off.
use charged attacks to suppress enemies. When her energy is full, unleash an elemental burst to further increase her ability to deal damage. After this, Klee can have fun causing explosions, spreading flames in every direction, and burning enemies to a crisp.
My God.
When the people of Mondstadt talk about their home, they proudly call
Klee Zhongli can have fun causing explosive damage. Like, what?
Call it the City of Wind, Dandelions, and Freedom. Perhaps it was Mondstadt's atmosphere of freedom that led the famous adventurer Alice to entrust her daughter Klee to the care of the Knights of Favonius.
That makes sense.
With this freedom, Klee has had a happy and unrestrained childhood. But
I
all
can
baby
tell.
birds must leave the nest someday. Hopefully, our little Spark Knight will remain just as happy-go-lucky when that
Oh
day
my
comes,
god.
and keep smiling all the way.
That's so cute. That one was funny, like she is a child and she enjoys burning enemies to a crisp. That sounds so dark. I'm excited for this one.
When it comes to Liyue's sacred traditions, the divinity is in the details. Even the most fastidious of academics don't claim to know them all. And yet, the mysterious funeral consultant, Zhongli, seems to know them like the back of his hand.
Funeral
The
consultant.
ancient rite of parting is a most unique tradition. Many details have been lost over time, but Zhongli is still able to perform the rite to perfection. Though he looks young, Zhongli knows each ancient tradition inside out. But his own past is shrouded in mystery.
Every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
Is that his hair?
Zhongli excels at manipulating Geo, able to create and absorb Geo matter.
Or is it part of
and
his
provide
outfit?
sturdy shields for his allies. This, paired with his exceptional ability in combat, makes him a reliable member of your party. Zhongli seems to know everything about everything.
Is that like
even
a
simple
spear?
chunk of white iron ore.
I don't know, but it looks
He
cool.
is able to pick out the best ore and use it to maximum effectiveness.
Of course.
When forging polearms, Zhongli recovers a set percentage of the ores used.
That kind of
Zhongli's
that
normal
stuff I don't
attack
really
can combo
understand,
up
but
to
that's
6 strikes,
I haven't.
dealing physical damage to enemies. Hold the attack button to consume a set amount of stamina and lunge forward,
Yo,
casting
looks
down
so
stone
cool.
spears across Zhongli's path,
Yo,
dealing significant physical damage to enemies.
that's so cool.
Tap Zhongli's elemental skill to summon the Geo energy from within the ground, and form a stone steel, dealing area of effect Geo damage
Yo, he
to
can
enemies.
just.
While the stone steel remains, it will periodically resonate with nearby Geo constructs, dealing continuous Geo damage to surrounding enemies.
Oh, the little thingy
You
he
can
made.
take advantage of this in battle. Draw enemies affected by other elements towards the stone steel, to both deal Geo damage and cause crystallize reactions. Use the elemental shield created by Crystallize to help your party survive. Stone steels can also be used to block enemy attacks, or climbed
Oh.
to traverse difficult terrain. Holding Zhongli's
So you can use it for
elemental skill
numerous
causes
things.
Geo energy around him to explode, creating a jade shield and dealing area of effect Geo damage. The jade
Oh my
shield
God.
absorbs damage. The amount absorbed
Oh,
scales with Zhongli's max HP, and
a
is
little
higher
shield
against
around him.
enemies' Geo attacks.
That looks so cool.
If Zhongli is surrounded by targets affected by Geo, it will drain a large amount of Geo energy from up to 2 of them. This effect does not deal damage, but can effectively break down enemies' Geo armor and nearby ore deposits. After unlocking the talent Resonant Waves, when the Jade Shield takes damage, it will fortify your character, allowing their shield to
Yo.
absorb more damage.
This is order.
Zhongli can bring a huge meteor crashing down, dealing
He can
massive
do-
Geo damage and applying petrification to enemies caught near the impact site.
He
Petrified enemies become immobilized. After unlocking the talent Dominance of Earth, Planet Befall deals additional damage to enemies, which scales with Zhongli's max HP. Zhongli maintains his composure, even as he metes out punishment in battle.
yo.
His exceptional ability to
He has a
provide
whole
support and
meteor
deal
that
damage
turns
makes him quite prepared
people
for
into
any scenario.
stone.
As the fight begins, first use Zhongli's elemental skill to summon a stone steel and draw enemies near it, creating the ideal environment for dealing damage. Next, create a Jade Shield to absorb incoming damage. Then, alternate normal and charged attacks, stringing together attacks to deal enormous damage. When energy is full, unleash an elemental burst and coordinate your party's attacks to wipe out the enemy. While Liyue Harbor grows restless on the eve of disaster, as the host
Definitely
of a rite
seems
of parting,
pretty useful.
Zhongli still calmly goes about his work. The world around him may be descending into chaos, yet he remains unperturbed, sipping his tea and watching a good show.
Of course.
Quite the fascinating character.
Unbothered.
As Liyue faces the turbulence of change, does he believe it is none of his business? Or is he also a player in this game, acting behind the scenes? It may be some time before the answers finally emerge. But no matter, for time is not something I lack.
He seems like a good character to have. And he looks cool when he's fighting.
In recent years, the efforts of one young Crimson Oni have earned the loud and proud Arataki gang a certain measure of fame in Inazuma City's Hanamizaka district. Or perhaps that should be infamy. Either way, when it comes to their founder and leader, Arataki Ito, everyone has to agree he's one of a kind.
He seems like it.
Arataki numero uno Ito here in the flesh.
If you claim you've never heard of the Arataki gang, don't be surprised
think
if
it's
Ito
cool
takes it
when
as
he
an
does
intentional
that.
provocation. In protest, he'll lift his hefty claymore and show off a few of his signature charged attacks, just so everyone knows who's the baddest Oni in town.
Of course.
Arataki
Of
Ito
course.
brags that with his Oni strength, even the sturdiest of trees can be felled. With Arataki Ito in the party, when your party members attack trees to obtain wood resources, they have a chance to get an additional log of wood. Arataki Ito's normal attack can combo up to 4 strikes. When his second and fourth strikes hit enemies,
Dang. Oh.
Ito will gain
He's-
1 or 2 stacks of
he's so
superlative
cool.
super strength, respectively, up to a max of 5 stacks. For a short time after sprinting or using his elemental skill, Ito can continue his normal attack chain where it left off.
Yo, the way he
When
just kicks
performing a
his
charged attack, if
weapon.
Ito has any superlative super strength stacks, he will unleash Arataki Kesagiri slashes without consuming stamina. Each slash consumes 1 stack of superlative super strength. When the last stack is consumed, Ito delivers a powerful final slash. If no superlative super strength is available, Ito's charged attack consumes stamina to perform a single Saichi Monji slash. After unlocking the talent Arataki Ichiban, when Arataki Ito uses Arataki Kesagiri, he slashes with increased attack speed, and his resistance to interruption is also increased. These effects will be cleared once he stops performing consecutive slashes. Tap Ito's elemental skill, and he hurls Ushi, the young Akaushi bull,
Oh my
and
gosh.
auxiliary member of the Arataki gang, dealing geo damage to enemies. When Ushi hits enemies, Arataki Ito gains a stack of superlative super strength. Holding the elemental skill button allows
Ooh.
Ito to adjust Ushi's throwing angle. Ushi inherits HP based on a percentage of Arataki Ito's max HP.
Of course.
and
Oh my gosh.
continuously taunts surrounding
It's
enemies.
cute.
When Ushi takes damage, Arataki Ito gains a stack of superlative super strength. Ushi will flee when its HP reaches 0 or its duration ends.
Oh my gosh. It looks like it's like
Arataki Ito gains
doing
stack
a little
of
dance.
superlative super strength as it leaves.
It's just like this.
Ushi is considered a geo construct, and Arataki Ito can only deploy 1 Ushi on the field at any one time.
Oni coming through!
Oh,
Ito
yes.
unleashes his elemental burst. He lets out his inner raging Oni King for a time. Wields his
Yo.
Oni King's Kanabo in battle. For the burst's duration,
That's
Ito's elemental and physical resistance are decreased. But his normal, charged, and plunging attacks are converted to geo damage that cannot be overridden.
just the way he kicks it is just cool.
Also,
Ito's normal attack speed is increased, and his attack is increased, based on his defense. During the Raging Oni King state, when the first or third strikes of his attack
There's
hits
so
an enemy,
much going on.
Ito gains a stack of superlative super strength. With adept use of this effect, Ito can overwhelm the enemy with more Arataki Kesagiri slashes, and vaunt the might of the Arataki gang.
Going off.
Ito's Crimson Oni bloodline is not only a point of pride, it's his source of strength in battle.
Oh yes, of
After
course.
unlocking the talent bloodline of the Crimson Oni, Arataki Kesagiri damage is increased by an amount that scales with Ito's defense. Arataki Ito's life is one where a new challenger could appear at any moment.
Was that
As
a comb?
self-professed tough guy,
He was fixing his
go
hair.
down without a fight. No matter who the opponent, he's always itching to show off his awesome skills and attain victory with style.
Of course, he's always wanting to show off his
Arataki Ito
awesome
uses his normal
skills.
attacks and elemental skill to accumulate stacks of superlative super strength, then batters the enemy with the Arataki Kesagiri charged attack.
My
When
gosh.
his energy is full, Arataki Ito unleashes his elemental burst to enter the Raging Oni King state, greatly enhancing his abilities. In this state, Ito can quickly stack up that superlative super strength and use Arataki Kesagiri slashes to crush those who dare challenge him.
He just keeps fixing his
Compared
hair.
to his peers, Arataki Ito has lived a colorful life and is familiar with the inside of a prison cell, fully qualifying him as the rightful leader of the Arataki gang.
Makes
Though
sense.
some may contest his way of handling things, the members of this young Crimson Oni's gang choose to follow him, despite the diet of grilled lavender melon. Well, it's one way of living. And ultimately, surviving on sporadic work and next to no mora is still an easier task than trying to deny your destiny.
Of course. I would expect nothing less of him. Knowing the inside of a prison cell. Makes a lot of sense. I am really interested to see how this character plays. Because his character demo was
Many
fire.
fell in the Archon War, but though their life force faded, their power and malice survived as remnants, posing a continued threat to the world. In Liyue, the task of ending this threat, or rather, enduring it, falls to Xiao.
I love
To most in
him.
Liyue, Xiao is a name seldom heard, and as the few who have seen him can attest, he appears only when grave danger is nigh. Coming across this Adeptus, should one count their blessings
Or
or
the
their
curses.
Conquering demons is what I do.
Sorry, I wasn't
Hailed as the
expecting that
conqueror of
voice.
demons, Xiao's abilities are unparalleled among the Adepti. As such, he vanquishes demons without breaking a sweat. Xiao is agile. His movement skills allow him to dart around the battlefield, and when he dons the mask of the Yaksha, his abilities are enhanced even further, as he purges evil and
Oh
protects
my gosh,
Liyue.
he's just going off.
After years of honing his abilities, Xiao has developed an Adeptus art that affords him strength at high altitudes. When Xiao is in the party, the active character consumes less stamina while climbing. Xiao's
definitely
normal
seems
attack
helpful.
can combo up to 6 strikes, dealing physical damage to enemies. Holding the attack button causes Xiao to consume stamina and perform an upward thrust, dealing physical damage and lifting enemies into the air.
He just flings
While
them.
airborne, press attack to perform a
Yes.
plunging attack, striking enemies on the way down and dealing AoE damage upon landing. Xiao will not lose HP from a plunging attack, no matter how high he starts. Use Xiao's elemental skill to lunge forward, dealing anemo damage to enemies in his path. Make adept use of this skill to dart effortlessly around the battlefield, dealing damage while tactically adjusting your position. Also, lemniscatic wind cycling can be used while airborne, making it easy for Xiao to navigate challenging terrain, aiding with exploration. Lemniscatic wind cycling starts with 2 charges available. After unlocking the talent Dissolution Eon Heaven Fall, if Xiao uses multiple charges in quick succession, damage dealt increases with each one.
Evil conquering!
When Xiao unleashes an elemental burst, he dons the Yaksha's mask that
Yeah.
once struck fear into gods and demons alike. His attacks now deal animo damage, which cannot be overridden by another elemental infusion. And Xiao's attack AoE and damage are both increased. In addition, Xiao's jumping ability is greatly enhanced, allowing him to assail the enemy with plunging attacks.
He's just going and going and going.
The Yaksha's mask brings enormous power, but also great suffering. During Xiao's elemental burst, he will continually lose HP. This effect stops if he leaves the field. After unlocking the talent
Interesting.
Conqueror of Evil, Tamer of Demons,
I mean, that makes sense.
while Bane of all evil is active, Xiao's damage gradually increases.
I mean, it looks cool.
When Xiao goes into battle, danger follows in his wake. To avoid harming others, he acts quickly, completing the task at hand as efficiently as possible. As the fight begins, Xiao uses his elemental skill to move rapidly around the battlefield, changing strategic positions, dealing damage as he goes, and building up energy. When his energy is full, he unleashes his elemental burst and harnesses the power
It
of
like
the
creates
Yaksha's
little like
mask to
spikes
incapacitate
that come out of the
enemy with
ground.
plunging attacks
So I
and
understand
finish
why
off every
doing
last
that
one.
is efficient. I like the animation when he's going
For
like
millennia,
moving around and
tales
stuff.
of the Yakshas have been told in Liyue. But over time, these defenders of the masses have all but disappeared. Only Xiao still honors his contract with the Geo Archon by performing the duties assigned to him, though the cost of this duty is perpetual solitude. I know that Adepti
this
suffer
looks
heartache
cool.
just as I do.
When he
But I
moves.
cannot know Xiao's future. Will Xiao be ravaged by the
My
unending
God,
war he
you just-
wages and be plunged
It
into
was
despair?
like so dramatic.
Or will he meet someone who understands his sacrifice and can shine a ray of light into his dark world?
Interesting. I'm excited to see if this character
In the eyes
plays
of Inazumans,
as
the
cool
Ryden
as
Shogun
it looks like
is
she
not
does
only an
in
archon, but
the
also a
all the
symbol.
videos I watched
She is
before.
their superior leader,
the
who
demos and
embodies
the version
eternal
trailers and
thunder
everything.
radiance. Her Excellency, the almighty Narukami Ogosho, 1,000-year-old protector of Inazuma. Little do they know that the current ruler of Inazuma, the Ryden Shogun, residing high up in Tenshukaku, is no longer the same Archon who emerged victorious from the Archon War.
The campaign begins.
No, I never realized that she was pulling
The
it
Ryden
out of her
Shogun
chest.
is a martial artist in pursuit of perfection, with a sole goal of achieving eternity. No matter who stands in her way to eternal euthymia, they have no chance against the divine punishment that shines down with her bidding. It was the Ryden Shogun who originated the Inazuman art of sword and polearm, as well as a variety of blade forging techniques. When ascending swords and polearms, the amount of mora spent by the Ryden Shogun will be decreased. The Ryden Shogun's normal attack can combo up to 5 strikes with her polearm, dealing physical damage. Holding the attack button consumes a set amount of stamina to perform an upward slash, dealing physical damage. Despite claiming to be detached from the mortal world, perhaps the Ryden Shogun still remembers her role as an Archon. She accrues the aspirations of all living creatures for her chakra desiderata.
My gosh.
When party members other than her use their elemental bursts, the Ryden Shogun will build up resolve stacks for chakra desiderata based on the energy cost of the bursts used. Then, use up all the resolve accrued to empower her next elemental burst. The resolve accrued by chakra desiderata will dissipate once the Shogun is out of combat for a set time. The exalted Archon devoted to eternity. What caused her to stop in her tracks and listen to the wishes of her people? After unlocking the talent Wishes Unnumbered, the elemental orbs and particles collected by nearby party members will grant additional resolve for chakra desiderata once per set time period.
I like her
Upon tapping her
how her
elemental
weapon
skill,
looks.
the Ryden Shogun unveils
well.
a shard of her euthymia, dealing electro damage to nearby opponents, and granting nearby party
That looks
members
cool.
the Eye of Stormy Judgment.
Of Stormy Judgment.
When characters carrying it attack and deal damage to opponents, the Eye of Stormy Judgment will unleash a coordinated attack,
That's cool.
dealing AoE electro damage.
Like I said, I didn't know that you could
The
use
characters who gained the Eye of Stormy Judgment will have their elemental burst damage increased, based on the energy cost of the elemental bursts unleashed.
the stuff from other characters while fighting as somebody else, if that makes sense. So I think that's cool. You can get like the best of both worlds, you know?
Thanks to the Eye of Stormy Judgment, the Ryden Shogun can aid her teammates without being on the battlefield, boosting their offensive capabilities.
Now you shall perish!
Gathering truths unnumbered and the resolve of wishes uncounted, the Ryden Shogun unleashes the Musou no Hitotachi,
Yo,
dealing
those
AoE electro
cool.
damage,
Oh my gosh.
using Musou Ishin in combat for a certain duration afterward. The damage dealt by Musou no Hitotachi and Musou Ishin's attacks is based on the number of chakra desiderata's resolve stacks consumed when this skill is used. While using Musou Ishin in combat, the Shogun's normal
It's cool
charged
how,
and plunging attacks will
like,
be
the
regarded as
animation
elemental
looks
burst damage
when she
and
does
will be
that.
infused with electro damage which cannot be overridden. When such attacks hit opponents, she will regenerate energy for all nearby party members. While in this state, the Ryden Shogun's resistance to interruption is increased, and she is immune to electrocharge damage.
Oh my gosh.
After unlocking the talent Enlightened One, if the Shogun's
Yeah?
energy recharge
Oh my
surpasses
God.
a certain value, the surplus energy recharge grants her a percentage-based electro damage bonus, and more energy restoration while in Musou Ishin.
I feel like that's just like really
The Ryden
visually
Shogun
appealing
can
when you were
accelerate the
fighting.
elemental burst rotation of her party while making the elemental bursts of her teammates more powerful. Such a seasoned leader like her remains fearless in the face of any encounter. In combat, the Ryden Shogun can use the Eye of Stormy Judgment to help teammates in difficult fights. When her teammates unleash elemental bursts or collect elemental orbs or particles, the Shogun gains more resolve for chakra desiderata. Wait for an opportune moment to unleash Musou no Hitotachi to
Yeah.
deal lethal damage to your enemies. And enter Musou Ishin
I like
to
that
clean
you
up the battlefield
can
while regenerating
like
energy for the whole party. To enable a round of elemental bursts that will strike foes down as fast as lightning.
I like that you can use like everything, you know, like switch back and forth between the characters and
Neighboring the Dark Sea, Inazuma
do
has
all that.
witnessed many a war. For the pursuit of eternity and the prosperity of Inazuma, the Ryden Shogun stuck stubbornly to her path. But what let some bloom made others wither. There is no gain without the pain of loss. When facing their fears, Archons and mortals are all the same. Yet Archons are born arrogant. By attempting to grasp the heavenly principles, she brought a disaster upon mortals. Perhaps some may say that I'm overstating what happened, but I'm just speaking from experience after all.
I want to know who the person is talking and narrating all this stuff. Or if it's just irrelevant. I don't know, maybe it's just irrelevant, but... Now, this was one of my favorite characters when watching everything. He seems very mysterious and dark. So, I'm excited to watch this. one as well because I want to see how he
There once
plays.
was a palace, and in that palace was a puppet, sound asleep.
Now see,
You know, I could just pretend that I don't remember what happened after that.
that makes more sense because, you know, when I was watching the version trailers and the character demo and stuff, I heard the whole puppet thing, and then, you know, in the version trailer it shows the big whatever the thing was and him inside of it. So now, you know, like, making a little more sense because I understand that
And
that was
then
a
make up
he's a
some
puppet
boring
now
story
inside
and
of that.
get this
So.
over with. But
Well,
boring clearly isn't my style, nor is it the Wanderer's way of doing things.
Sorry, I have a lot going on in my brain right now because there's a lot going on. Well, not really, but anyways. I just realized that is a woman talking now. So.
Things. You could say his story is simple and straightforward, or horrendously complex, and both would be right. It all depends on the storyteller.
Are you sure it has to be me?
Well, I love
Fine.
him.
Let's get this over with.
If you happen to run into this wanderer, don't let his menacing expression make you nervous. He's really not all that hard to get along with. You just need to keep your distance, that's all. Don't provoke him, and he won't kick up a storm.
No,
Simple, isn't it?
doesn't sound like
He doesn't
it.
like to talk about it much, but the Wanderer has quite a lot of experience in forging weapons. So when the Wanderer ascends bows and catalysts, it doesn't cost him as much mora. The Wanderer's normal attack can combo up to 3 wind blades, dealing animo damage.
Yo, he's like
His charged
floating.
attack consumes some stamina and creates a high-pressure wind blast in front of him after a short casting
Seems
time,
so elegant.
dealing AoE animo damage. The Wanderer's elemental skill harnesses the power of the air all around as he casts
Yo, his
off the
hat just
shackles of
disappeared.
gravity, dealing AoE animo damage and rising into the air as he enters the
Yo.
wind-favored state. In this state, the Wanderer is unable to use plunging attacks, and his normal and charged attacks are converted to Kugo Fushodan and Kugo Tofukai, which deal increased damage over a wider AoE.
The way he
Using
fights
Kugo
is
Tofukai
cool.
will not consume stamina. The Wanderer hovers in midair while in this state, continuously consuming Kugo Ryoku points to remain airborne.
He just be floating.
When the sprint button is pressed, instead of sprinting, the Wanderer
Yo.
consumes more Kugo Ryoku points to fly through the air more quickly.
He can just.
Holding sprint maintains a faster flying
That's so
while
cool.
consuming points at a faster rate. Pressing jump raises the Wanderer higher into the air at the cost of Kugo Ryoku points, and holding jump does so continuously. The wind-favored state ends when all Kugo Ryoku points are used up. The wind-favored state allows the Wanderer to do battle from midair, as well as explore
That
difficult
seems
terrain more
helpful.
easily.
Being able to.
Casting his elemental skill again while airborne brings the wind-favored state to an end.
Being able to go
After
airborne
unlocking the
while
talent
fighting.
Jade Claimed Flower. If the Wanderer's elemental skill makes contact with Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro when cast, the wind-favored state provides different buffs depending on the element. Hydro increases the Wanderer's Kugo Ryoku point cap. Pyro increases the Wanderer's own attack.
That's cool.
Cryo increases his crit rate. And Electro causes him to regain some elemental energy when
This is
Kugo
cool
Fushodan
how-
and Kugo Tofukai deal damage.
On his little circle thing, it lights up a different part of it depending on the element he's
To
fighting.
enemies. A limited quantity of energy can be regained per set time period, and a maximum of 2 buffs can be gained at any one time. The force of wind cannot always be seen, but it can certainly be felt. After unlocking the talent, Gales of a Reverie, when Kugo Fushodan
That's so cool,
or
like, he
Kugo
can-
Tofukai hits an enemy, the
He can just fight in the air and move around and everything. He just be floating. That's cool.
Wanderer has a chance to gain the descent effect. The next time the Wanderer uses his alternate sprint to fly at speed, the descent effect is consumed instead of Kugo Ryoku points, and several wind arrows
Yeah,
are
oh,
fired,
he
each
go
dealing
off.
animo damage. If If a Kugofu Shodan or Kugo Tofukai does not trigger the descent effect, the chance of triggering the effect next time is increased.
Know your place.
Sorry, my goodness.
Casting the Wanderer's Elemental Burst compresses the surrounding air to form an Animo Plenum that blasts all sources of frustration away, dealing multiple bouts of AoE Animo damage.
All sources of
Casting his Elemental
frustration.
Burst while in the wind-favored state brings this state to an end. Though Wanderer is his name, aimlessness is not his game, and he does not hesitate to take decisive action in pursuit of his goals. The Wanderer's elemental skill is his preferred means of doing battle. Once in the wind-favored state, he attacks from the air using his Kugofu Shodan and Kugo
Oh my
Tofukai
God.
to deal increased Animo damage with a wider AoE. By coordinating with his teammates, he can benefit from a range of enhancements, which make him even more
Yo, that's
powerful
so
in battle.
cool.
When energy is full, the Wanderer unleashes his elemental burst, dealing several rounds of AoE Animo damage in one fell swoop.
He looks like a lot of
devastating all
fun
obstacles that stand in
to
his way.
play.
The world of Teyvat has its own rules. They aren't perfect, though, and in some cases they are as delicate and fragile as the human heart. That's why I've been tasked with the job I have now, a job which gives me certain special privileges. I'm someone who likes having the freedom to live their own life, but I don't mind this job. It gives me the chance to see this world and everything that lives in it from a lot of different perspectives. People can find ways to forget, but they can't undo what they've done, and there's no escaping the past. The Wanderer learned this the hard way. But what about his future? Which way will the wind blow?
Now, who is this lady?
A lot of people crave the power to predict the future, but I doubt the Wanderer cares for that. With a past like his, he knows the only way is forward, whatever lies
Why
ahead.
is he...
For
Oh, it's
better
raining.
or for
I
worse.
was gonna say, why is he wet? I still love him. He's still in my top favorites, but he definitely looks like a lot of fun to play, and the fact that he can stay in the air while fighting is really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, obviously, I had to save one of my favorites for last. I would consider him my favorite, probably for the time being at least, because I just thought he was so cool when I watched his demo and everything. So I am really excited for this one, and I'm hoping that it lives up to all of my expectations.
Many in Sumeru make it their life's goal to be a scholar, some for the pursuit of truth and knowledge, but there are also those who have other intentions. After all, if you find a niche research topic and manage to secure academia funding, you're set for life. But if this sounds too good to be true, that's because it usually is. The academia is a millennia-old institution, and those working to ensure its continued longevity have zero tolerance for those trying to exploit it.
Who's our next target?
I love him.
The favor of the gods enables Sino to manipulate the electro.
That's how you
element
pronounce
and
his
to
name.
summon a
Okay, thank
divine
you.
Spirit to aid him in the cause of delivering
Because I
justice.
was lol.
The General Mahamatra gained his formidable reputation
Lost.
not through empty posturing, but by tracking down wayward scholars and bringing them to justice. And because of his tracking prowess, these trips often end up more bountiful than expected. Sino gains increased rewards when dispatched on a 20-hour expedition within Sumeru. Sino's normal attack can combo up to 4 strikes with his polearm, dealing physical damage. Using his charged attack, Sino consumes a certain amount of stamina
Yes.
to lunge forward, dealing physical damage to enemies along the way.
Oh my gosh.
Cast Sino's elemental skill to perform a high-speed dash, dealing electro damage to enemies in his path.
Through me, justice is served.
Yes.
Sino's elemental burst summons a divine spirit to possess him. He morphs into the pact-sworn Path Clearer, causing damage dealt by his normal, charged, and plunging attacks
Yo!
to be converted to electro damage that cannot
It
be
looks so
overridden.
cool.
In this state, Sino's elemental mastery and
His
resistance
big
to interruption are increased,
claws.
and he gains immunity to damage dealt by
Just
electro-charged
slashing.
reactions. The Pact Sworn Path Clearer state ends after a set duration,
He's
or
so
when Sino
cool.
leaves the field. When Sino is in the Pact Sworn Path Clearer state, his elemental skill changes, instead unleashing a Mortuary Rite, which deals thunderous AoE electro damage and extends the duration of Pact Sworn Path Clearer.
I'm sorry, just the animation. I
Once
just
the
love.
General Mahamatra has you in his sights, the best option is to admit your guilt. Otherwise, you will find yourself the target of his relentless pursuit. After unlocking the talent Featherfall Judgment, when Sino is in the Pact Sworn Path Clearer state, he will intermittently enter the Endseer state.
But
If he
oh,
casts his elemental skill while in this state, he will activate the Judication effect, increasing the damage of this elemental skill and firing off 3 Duststalker bolts that deal electro damage.
oh my gosh.
After unlocking the talent Authority over the 9 Bows, damage dealt by Sino's normal attack and Duststalker bolts while in the Pact Sworn Path Clearer state is increased based on Sino's elemental mastery. Break the Academia Code at your peril, for as are Sino's jokes, so too is his judgment. No laughing matter. Sino starts battle by casting his elemental skill, dealing electro damage to enemies and building up elemental energy.
There's my girl.
When his energy is full, he unleashes his elemental burst to enter the Pact Sworn Path
I love
Clearer
how
state, then
he
deals electro damage to enemies with normal attacks.
attacks.
His special elemental skill, Mortuary Rite. By strategically using Mortuary Rite, he not only extends the Pact Sworn Path Clearer state, but also triggers the Judication effect to fire off Duststalker bolts and deliver final judgment upon the guilty.
Final judgment upon the guilty.
In my travels across Teyvat, I've heard people say that curiosity was mankind's original sin. Perhaps everyone has the impulse to explore the deep secrets of the world, but only scholars can truly fulfill such ambitions. Sino can relate to some degree. Placing the mysteries of the universe before scholars with a burning desire for knowledge would be like placing a dragon-themed deck from Genius Invocation TCG in front of him. Both are irresistible temptations.
Oh my god.
Perhaps the academia established the Matra not principally to punish wayward scholars, but rather to protect them, because the gravest crimes committed in the name of wisdom may be beyond the Matra's ability to punish.
Well, I can definitely say that he did live up to my expectations, and I love him so much. I may not know much about the game, or if he's even like a good character or whatever, like to have or to play as, but I still love him. Okay, I still love him. Now, that was everything for today, sadly. This video was definitely a lot shorter than my other videos on Genshin, but that's just because I really just wanted to see some of my favorite characters and how they play. I didn't really understand some of the stuff that they were talking about, but that's just because I haven't actually played the game yet, which I am definitely looking forward to, and getting to see some of my favorite characters in action was a lot of fun, and it made me excited to play the game and understand the game more, like what's actually going on. So when I do play, a lot of the stuff that I watched will definitely make a lot more sense. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching today, and thank you for watching.